What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Orange County SC podcast. We're going to talk about the big questions tonight. Has Cubo Torres unlocked the net, and now is he going to score a lot of goals? And has Orange County gotten back to their winning ways that'll help lead them to another USL Championship Cup? We're going to talk about that and more. Welcome to the Podcast of Champions. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
And the air leaves Allang Stadium in one large exhale. Trouble. Arozarena's beat. Orange County opens the scoring. It's Thomas. Kuninga scores! The old guard with a new trophy.
This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. Follow us on Twitter at OCSC_SoccerCast or on Facebook at Orange and Black Soccer Cast.
How's it going, Orange County? Welcome to another episode of the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, the first and only podcast dedicated to Orange County Soccer Club, its fans, and supporters. I'm your host, Ray Samora, and I'm going to take you through this wonderful journey that we call soccer in Orange County and talking about a professional team. Let's get on to this. Let's bring on all of the panel here, familiar faces as always, and let's start with Dylan, and then we'll go to Alan, and then we'll go to Brad. Dylan, how's it going, man?
Apparently we're in a rush tonight. I'm doing well. Glad to be here, and yeah, that's about it.
I think producer Andy took me literally when I said, let's go through the whole panel here really quick. But that's fine. That's awesome. Alan, down in San Diego, I was just in your neck of the woods this weekend, Temecula. I know you don't live but you teach there.
That's not my neck of the woods. That's no.
You're there more than you're at home pretty much, right?
No, if you count weekends, I'm only in Temecula for 8 hours of the 24 hours. So, hey, Harry, good to see you again. I'm glad I'm making San Antonio fans happy by picking against them, which means they're probably going to win. No, things are going great. Was feeling a little bit under the weather last week. And so I was taking a NyQuil right about now. So I'm happy to be back and happy to be discussing an Orange County win.
Hopefully it was a NyQuil tablet, not a whole bottle of NyQuil that you were taking this time last week. Let's head up to Reno and Mr. Brad in Reno. How are we doing, my man?
Oh, I'm doing quite all right. I'm just as succinct as Dylan is with my emotions.
All right. Perfect. Good to know. And by the way, I know last week I said I was going to be out of town in Colorado Springs and I might not make it, but I'm stuck at home. I'm actually in the podcast studios tonight because a family member had a positive test of COVID. So I was considered close contact. I could not travel to the conference I was supposed to attend. So works out though. I'm here to talk with you fine gentlemen. And we have a guest on. Let's just introduce the guest right now, and then we'll let him just hang out and listen to what we have to say, and he can make fun of us, chime in with some thoughts of what we're talking about. And that's Mr. Peter Bloom from Roots Blog, covers Oakland Roots. For those of you that followed us last season, you recognize his name and his face probably if you watch the live streams. Hey, Peter, how you doing, my man?
Hey, doing well. Happy to be back, coming to you guys from Oakland, California. Roots not off to a hot start, so looking forward to hearing you guys talk about your equally difficult start.
We'll get into that. It's been a difficult start for the defending champions here in the Orange County, or not the Orange County, in Orange County Soccer Club. I was about to say in the USL Championship, but for some reason I started saying Orange County, so I just went with it. But let's talk about tough start for the team, but maybe they figured things out. Brace from Cubo, a win in RGV or in South Texas, wherever they play, whatever city that is, who knows. And maybe a little bit of revenge from some of the craziness that happened the last time these two teams played at Championship Soccer Stadium. But Orange County comes away with a 2-1 victory. Probably one of the more important victories in this early part of the season because Orange County had been struggling as of late. If you go back to the start of the season, pretty much. And so they pull off a victory in a place that's been difficult for this team to get results and get victories in South Texas. Dylan, how important was this win, this 3 points for Orange County? And is this a sign of better things to come? Or are you still on the nervous side of things for Orange County?
Well, it's 3 points, and obviously now it's May, but it was April. It's 3 points in April. It's not anything particular. But how important was it that Brent Richards returns, as we see him pressing really high up the pitch, and then look a goal 3 seconds after that? So I look at it more of a it's nice to win. I don't think we're close to where Orange County was last year. I don't think we're close to where Orange County needs to be if they're going to be remotely competitive, and what is seemingly a really good division again this year. And yeah, I don't know. I still feel a little bit nervous about where we're at the moment, and just the kind of sloppiness that when you play for a 1-0 victory every game, you can't really afford to have.
Hey, but it was a victory, Dylan. So we got to at least have some faith in the team pulling off the victory again in a place that's been difficult for them forever, right? Let me go to you really quick, Alan. How important? So we talked about importance. How important was it to see Kubo Torres get the brace in this match? I believe both goals off of. Well, I know the first one was off a header. I think
Header,
the second one was that a header as well. So
Yeah,
I
well,
mean,
second one's
the head coming into play for Kubo. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think it's a positive result that you can be happy with. I think RGV played quite poorly in this match at times, and Orange County took advantage. I'm not sure Orange County played terribly great at times either. I thought, RGV had the momentum in the second half, but Orange County was able to withstand that onslaught. It's nice to see a guy like Kubo get on the board, because I think once him seeing the ball hit the back of the net might kind of settle him down a little bit. But I mean, this isn't your father's RGV, who seemed to be dominant at home last year. Last year, they only dropped points in 7 matches. I think they're already at 3 so far this year, and 3 of those being losses. They only had 5 at home last year. So they're over halfway of their loss total at home in only 8 games played. So it's not great for them right now. This one's hard to kind of gauge, because when you're playing a team like RGV, you have struggled in the past. It feels good to get out of there with 3 points, regardless of kind of where they are and where you are. So I think Orange County should be happy with the 3, encouraged by some signs of some pretty decent turnovers, some pretty decent crosses to get goals. But it was also kind of really poor defending in RGV in those 2 instances as well. And you still got to be in the right spot. But yeah, I'm repeating myself again. But Orange County should be happy with the 3, but maybe not happy with how they got the 3.
Now I'm going to jump to you really quick, Brad. But before I do so, I want to jump on, ask a question for Peter here. And this won't be a difficult question for him, but if you didn't know, Peter, we do awards at the end of every season. And one of our awards we usually do is Celebration of the Year. What are your odds on Kubo Torres and his robots making the final list for Celebration of the Year? Do you like that type of celebration, or is that overplayed?
I mean, I think it's got to be like... it's got to be in the conversation at the end of the season, but like really, I mean, I don't feel like anyone is in mid-season form on their celebrations yet, so it's so hard to say.
Can you pull off a better robot than Kubo?
I absolutely cannot. And I wouldn't have earned it. I also can't score those goals.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So you can't use that head of yours to get the ball into the back of the net from those crosses. That's pretty cool though. Yeah, it's one of those ones that potentially will be a finalist, but I don't know. The robot seems like it's really outplayed. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Brad, on the robot? And then let me ask you this, because Dylan talked about importance. I asked Alan a question about importance, so I'm going to ask you a question about importance. How important is it for Patrick Rakowski that he's seeing some returning defenders like Michael Orozco, Brent Richards, and then also the re-signing of Rob Kiernan? How important is that for Rakowski in becoming that world-class keeper that he was at the end of last season in the championship run?
Yeah, I mean, the less you need to do as the keeper, the easier it is to not allow goals in. And definitely, I mean, um, not just the names you mentioned, but Alex Villanueva had a bunch of really good clearances. I believe the replay that's showing now, he's gonna get his head to it, and Rakowski just tips the ball over. Last week against Indy 11, that ball would have found the back of the net somehow. Just a player being there. It seems like our players are now. I mean, this is RGV. They're not as good of a team, and especially this year. But it starts with just marking your man in the box, and especially if we want to win these low-scoring game thrillers, you got to play better defense, which Orange County showed up a little bit better this game.
And we've talked about it recently, right? Orange County has been on the short end of having depth at the defensive spot. We've sort of had our criticisms of some of the defensive settings and players playing maybe a little bit out of position, asking certain players like, Skendi to play on the right side when he lacks the type of pace you may want from that position. Now we're getting to a point here where Orange County is potentially going to have some depth now at defense, because you had some of these players that probably wouldn't have been playing with a full roster early on in the season, and now they've gotten some minutes under their belt. Dylan, does that excite you now that we're seeing some of the injured players returning? We're seeing Rob Kiernan now is officially announces back with the club. Does that excite you now that we have a more solid group of defenders that Richard Chaplow can call on for the upcoming matches, as long as we stay healthy, right?
Yes, he can call on them as long as we stay healthy. It's a funny way to say that I'm excited, because in having a Robbie Kiernan and a Michael Orozco in the middle instead of a Kobe Henry, Hunter Gorski, Albie Skendi combo, games will be most likely less exciting by a product of significantly better defending. Having Brent Richards in there as well is a huge get for the back four or five or three, whatever it happens to be at any given moment. It's nice that they're back, though, because we might actually get to see what Orange County should look like. And, right around this 10-game mark that we approach, hopefully we get to kind of ride off the first 10 and see what we can do for the remaining 2/3 of the season.
Now, obviously, I'm gonna again jump to you, Peter, and I'm gonna ask you a question that I'm not trying to ask you your insights on Orange County, because you're a Roots fan, but how important in your mind, when you're looking at, a couple weeks ago we had no Robbie Kiernan, no Brent Richards, no Michael Orozco, who are three probably penciled in starters in your defensive unit. How important it is for a team to have these players that are, very good defenders, USL championship tested defenders. And do you agree with Dylan? Like, because obviously I know what Dylan's saying is you have these good defenders in there. It's going to, lead to more of a defensive minded setup from Richard Chaplow. That's what Orange County does. Would you take the, low scoring victories, even if it's not the most exciting brand of soccer, or do you prefer more of an open game? And who cares about that defense? I know I asked a bunch in there. If you forget anything, don't worry about it.
I'll see if I can work my way through them. I would have been more excited to face Orange County before they had their starters back, obviously. And, the win against RGV Toros, that's one of the shared matchups that the Roots have with Orange County to date in the season. And Orange County did better in those matchups than the Roots did. As for my preference, I guess especially if I know my team is probably not going to win the title, I would rather see the free flowing attacking soccer. I mean, you want to see goals, right? That's what we're here to do. But I mean, like in a if you offered me a title and the cost was going to be that my team would only ever win 1-0, I'd probably take it.
Which, I mean, I don't blame you. I think any fan of a team is going to take that. If you can guarantee a title, but you can't, it's not going to be exciting soccer. It's going to be slow paced. You're only going to have a couple really good opportunities on goal, but you're guaranteed you're going to win the lift that cup at the end of the year. I think almost any soccer fan is going to take that 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10. I know you say like who doesn't want to see goals and stuff like that. I'm one of the rare exceptions. I love defense. I love the tactics. I love watching these low scoring, what I've called in the past chess matches between the coaches and the teams and really getting tactical behind it. So I don't mind this style. I know it's not Dylan's favorite style of soccer. I know, we all know that. We hear from him, right? Is that he'd rather see a little bit more open, a little bit more attacking style. And Dylan's making some faces as I say that. I think Alan and Brad are the same way. I think they would prefer more wide open soccer out there. This is and maybe this is making me a little bit more biased on this, is I love this brand of soccer. I love the, defensive aspects of it. So it's pretty awesome. Let us know what you all think. I mean, if anyone else here that's listening agrees with me, if you like the defensive chess matches and all that stuff, let us know in the comments and we'll share some of those. I just saw we have someone that loves all the goalie saves. Chuck, way to go. You're on Team Ray, it seems like, on that one. Alan, your thoughts. Do you prefer the wide open, or do you like these chess matches? And which style do you think best fits Orange County with their roster?
I mean, why not both? Like, I think this is what made Orange County a little bit more exciting last year, was their like lightning strike counterattacking ability. That was just like, you knew it was going to happen at some point. It was just kind of a more than win than if. And that's what I like about like defensive teams. They play defense to be offensive, as opposed to like a certain team in Madrid who plays like almost like negative soccer, right? I think there's a difference between playing like parking a bus and then playing defensive to be offensive, right? And so I appreciate those style of defensive teams where it's like you absorb pressure to spring back at your opponents. What I don't appreciate is like defense for defensive sake that like leads to no offense. Because like you're here to play a game and score goals. Like you're not here to just defend your half. So I think there's a way of doing it that you can get both out of it. I think that's what makes, some of these really good counterattacking sides really fun to watch, is how explosive and quick they are. And you get that excitement 1 or 2 times a match, and then you're watching 80 minutes of defending. But that's where I would land on. But if I had a choice, like I want like all of the vibes, like that Man City Real Madrid game from Champions League, where it was like back and forth, and like both teams, like one team's playing tactics, the other team is playing just like, let's see if we can figure this out on the pitch. Like, as a neutral, give me those games every day of the week. But as like someone who roots for the team, I want less heart attacks. So I would prefer a counterattacking style for my own team versus like run and gun. But give me a run and gun any day of the week.
Look at the run and gun coming out with like the old 80s NFL tactics in here, the run and gun. If anyone doesn't know what that is, go check out some old, was it Buddy Ryan back in the days, NFL? I think he was the run and gun guy. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Let me know. Brad, your last thoughts on this match, and then we're going to get to our prediction updates, scoreboard updates. Go for it, Brad. I'm going to let you handle all this. Your thoughts on the match, and then get us into the updates on how the prediction game is going.
The updates are going to need to come later. I'm just finishing up the spreadsheet, but it's going to take me a couple extra minutes. You know what? Don't give me that old man concerned look. My final thoughts on this match is it's good to be in the win column. I think we've had 2 wins, and both of them have come against RGV so far this season, but that's still 6 points that you need, especially in a head-to-head matchup. We're not going to face them until the end until the playoffs, if they make playoffs or we make playoffs. But a win's a win. I can't complain about that, even if there are things that we can be doing better as a team.
Awesome. So we'll give Brad some time to finalize what's going on with the predictions, but I will let you guys know right now, Alan, his score prediction was not correct. We know that absolutely. His score prediction of 61-9 in favor of Orange County did not work out. Although he did get some points for predicting the correct
I was so close.
Winner. You got the correct winner at least. So go for it. So for Orange County to be able to continue and get 2 wins in a row and get a nice long winning streak going here, at least in the 2022 season, they're going to have to take down a former foe from the playoffs of 2021, and that's Oakland Roots. If you didn't know, that's why we brought Peter on to the show this week. Is we are facing the Roots, and he's an expert. Is it okay if I call you an expert on the Roots, Peter?
You can call me that. I don't know if I would agree with you.
But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this matchup. First and foremost, Peter, let us know, how are the Roots looking so far this season? Give us your breakdown, quick, old school term again, Cliff Notes version, or Cliff's Notes version of the Roots so far in 2022.
Yeah, the Roots got off to a rocky start, 3 straight losses. It looked like they were turning things around. They had then not lost a game for, I guess, 5 straight matches, and then lost to Colorado Springs. So the points that they're putting up are really not what they had hoped. There's still promise, but it's a lack of consistency really from all 3 units. The attack looks good in flashes. The midfield is, I guess, consistent but not great, and the defense looks really good until it completely capitulates. So that's how you end up with however many points the Roots are on after 9 games, something like 7 points.
You got it. You got the 7 points right. Is there something in the water up in that neck of the woods? You know, Oakland Roots struggling a little bit early, Monterey Bay struggling early in the season here. Both of those teams are basically the bottom of the table, 12th and 13th in the Western Conference. Is it something in the water? Is just growing pains? Because again, Roots are second year in USL Championship. Monterey Bay, it's their first year. Is there something weird going on, or is it just something fans were prepared for? Oakland Roots fans, at least, were prepared for coming into a new league last year.
There's some real division in the fan base on what's going on. I don't know if it's so much being a second-year team as much the growing pains of having a new coach. I was going to raise this. I don't know, how much you guys or your listeners have watched the Roots this season. It is a different lineup. There are maybe 2 starters from the playoffs last season that you will recognize as starters for the game on Saturday. Joseph Nane started in the playoffs, one of the defensive midfielders. He may be replaced by Matias Fasore, who also started. They ran 2 defensive midfielders in the playoffs. But we're only running 1 now, and so one or the other is likely to play. And then the central midfielder, Jose Hernandez. Otherwise, it's entirely new guys. The defense is largely completely turned over. The wingers are different, and all of the forwards have changed. And I think that's the main issue. I think that's why they're struggling to connect. They're struggling to reliably score goals. And when it works, it's brilliant. But they're just having a hard time making it work every game.
So I think I want to say first and foremost, welcome. That makes you an official team in the USL Championship, is that roster turnover year in and year out. Most of the teams that have been around for a while are used to that. The fan bases, I know in Orange County, we've gone through that every single year. You got like half of a new roster, players that weren't there the previous season, which obviously makes it difficult in these early part of the season. So I think what you tend to see is in the early parts of the season, those teams that maybe have some more stability in the roster and their coaching staff maybe get off to better starts. And then we see who's able to gel mid-season and make that late run and who just couldn't figure it out and whatnot. And that's the way the USL Championship goes. What do you look at? I don't know what you've seen about Orange County, what prep you've done looking at them this season, but what does Oakland have to do? Like if the kickoff starts and you're 20 minutes in, what is Oakland doing right that you're looking at it as this is a good opportunity to get 3 points against Orange County?
Well, so in my research for this, I looked up, how Orange County season's going, and it looks like your offense is really struggling with consistency as well. And maybe that is on the upswing with Torres's brace. But I think that a good Roots performance is going to start with either shutting out Orange County or keeping them to 1 goal. And I may be tipping my hand on my prediction for this game, which I'm sure we come to at the end. But I think that's what I'm going to look for is when Orange County has possession, it will be toothless, passing around the midfield, but not getting it into the Roots box.
I'll give you the insider scoop of why the offense is struggling is no Ronaldo Damas up top, which was a key part of the attack for Orange County. Sort of that excitement that we heard some of the other guys on here say is you're missing that excitement from a player like Ronaldo Damas up top, where you can almost guarantee 2 to 3 exciting opportunities on goal, even if maybe they're not always on target. He's going to at least put the energy in. He's going to get up there and all that. Dylan, you have a question for Peter or a comment or a thought? Go for it. I'm not even gonna control this right now. I'm gonna let you go, Dylan.
Why have you done this? Peter, very quickly, 5 words. Describe the Roots season thus far.
Inconsistent, but silver linings abound.
Okay. 5 more words. What are these silver linings?
Our Loney striker looks good.
Okay, and of course, silver linings only come from rain clouds. 5 words. What are those dreary Bay Area rain clouds casting shadows over your team right now?
The crosses aren't finding him.
Look at
better
that.
at this 5
You
words
know
at a
what?
time.
That was impressive.
I was gonna say that's really good. And who knew Dylan is the one that's gonna ask the most difficult questions of the night? I mean, I can almost see a couple little dribbles of sweat coming down Peter's forehead there because of those questions, because he's sitting there trying to think, am I 5 words? I don't know. And I'm sorry, I was confused. I thought Dylan's question was supposed to be 5 words, so I counted 6 words in his first question. That's why I was holding up 6 when I was doing the video stream here. Alan, are you gonna do you have more difficult questions?
Do I smell a new segment coming from Roots Blog?
I don't know that we could reliably count that well.
No, this will be something we're going to do on our show now. Every time we have a guest, Dylan's going to, we're going to do like 5 words with Dylan, and he's going to have to ask 3 questions of our guest.
Why do I get all of the bits?
If it's like Coach Richard Chaplow, GM Oliver Weiss, he's going to have to ask those questions that way.
Can I turn this around and ask what
ask Dylan the hard questions?
What you're looking if things are going well for Orange County 20 minutes into the matchup this weekend, what are you seeing from Orange County?
Who do you want to answer that question, Peter?
I'll take anyone who thinks they have a good answer.
Somehow we scored a goal.
I forget whose analysis it is, but I'm going to steal it. Is we score a goal before the other team and we're good.
Ooh, actually, I would like to change mine. Somehow we didn't concede yet.
I got one. Let's go park the bus.
This is really derailed. Ray's now pulling a Brad.
Radio.
I'm muted. Alan, do you have a serious answer for Peter on this one?
You're going to me for a serious answer? I think it's the same for both teams.
You're the expert from the USL show that's part of this group of ragtag, whatever you call it.
I think for both teams, it's pretty much the same. Like if you're not conceding early, you feel good. I don't want to speak for Peter, but I think the 3-0 Colorado Springs in the scoreline does a really disservice to the way Oakland played for a large majority of that match. Oakland went toe-to-toe with Tampa Bay, although Tampa Bay doesn't look nearly as good as they've looked in the past. But, I mean, from Oakland to go toe-to-toe with that team as well, like, Oakland's record, I don't think, is as fairly representative of the play over the course of the game. I think they let in kind of a cheap goal and it kind of waterfalled toward the end. Maybe like confidence slagged. It's like you work so hard and then the first goal goes in like that. You're just like deflated. But I think Orange County shouldn't underestimate Oakland, and Oakland shouldn't overestimate Orange County, if that makes sense. Like, I think Oakland could have a tendency. They haven't ever beaten Orange County, if my memory serves me correct. So, like, I don't even think they've gotten points. I think they've lost every time. Well, playoffs, it's a drop, whatever. But I think maybe there's a mental hurdle that Oakland might need to get over, and Orange County can play into it by frustrating them early and not allowing them to score. And so I think for Orange County, if it's 0-0 at halftime, you're doing great. Like, I think if you let in one goal, Kubo scored 2. There's a potential for Orange County to get multiple goals. But the way they're playing statistically right now, maybe they're good for it every third game for 2 goals. But their XG against is right around the same number. So if Orange County wants to play the game that they can control either through defensively or possession, they want a low scoring game. I'm not sure Oakland also has more than a couple goals in them too. But I think if Orange County walks in at halftime 0-0, I think they feel good. If they're up a goal, they feel even better, right? We saw what they did with RGV. They were up and they kind of, like, I don't want to say survived, but they defended really well. RGV had some momentum, but they never broke down, and that's with a inconsistent at times back line. So that's my serious answer to, if Orange County isn't behind at halftime, then I think that they're feeling pretty good.
I love how Alan took the 20-minute timeline and moved it to halftime there for his analysis there. I'm going to say this. If Orange County looks solid in the back, in the defense for those first 20 minutes, and they don't look shaky, they don't look nervous, they're not making early mistakes in the back line, that's where you have maybe some confidence in what you're going to see out of Orange County. I think too many times this season, you've seen just some really poor choices on defense, a little bit of poor marking up. And part of this has to do with, the fact that you had some injuries. You didn't have Rob Kiernan on the roster yet. You didn't have Brett Richards available early in the season. So we were playing players like Kobe Henry and Gorski and Skendi as your 3 defenders, and nothing against those 3 players. But when you're looking at this season, returning champions, you're not looking at those 3 as your starting 3 defenders for a championship run, right? Because you're looking at Skendi, again, we've talked about this numerous times, a 5th tier English player making his jump to the USL championship. I'm not saying that US soccer is at the same level as English soccer, but still, you're going from the 5th tier in England to the 2nd tier in US. There's going to be some difficulties there. And, nothing against Kobe Henry, but he's still just turned 18. Really great player, really good player for his age, but you're going to have those mistakes that you get from a youngster when it comes to playing minutes, even if it is the 2nd tier in the US. So I think the good sign for Orange County and what maybe gives fans hope in this match at 20 minutes is if the defenses look solid and they've looked like they're not going to make mistakes and they're not going to get nervous out there. And hopefully, like I said, Michael Orozco, Brett Richards, maybe Rob Kiernan makes a start. I don't know how ready he is for that, but those types of things are going to be what's going to be awesome to see from Orange County and definitely give the fans some confidence. Go for it. Do you have any other questions for us, Peter? I want to let you ask some questions. So that way, if you want to share with any of your followers, listeners, readers, what you've learned from us.
So I looked at the lineups, at least from FBref. I don't know how reliable those are. Is Orange County running 3 center backs or 2 center backs? How is that working? And then also, to give you a little more time to think about the answer, what does the offense look like outside of Torres? Sort of what's the game plan?
So I'll jump on really quick on this. Yeah, I think the outset of the season, I think Chaplow, his game plan is 3 center backs and then the 2 wing backs playing wide, which is what we've pretty much seen all season. Again, with injuries, you're seeing a mismatch, mix up of different players playing those center back roles. And one of my biggest complaints so far has been seeing someone like a Skendi playing on the right center back of a back three. This is a guy that's 6'5", probably has, if we're playing FIFA, the video game series, he probably has a pace rating of like 15. So it's not really someone you want to have on your back right side of a center back three, which would be difficult. I see even Chuck is not impressed yet, but Chuck, you got to remember, this is a 5th tier English soccer player that's coming in and being asked to play big minutes. As far as the offense, this is my opinion on it, is there's been no one to fill in for what we had last season with Ronaldo Damas and what fit in with probably, I'm going to assume, is what Coach Richard Chaplow's game plan was for this season, at least for the first part until the summer transfer window opened, is having that pacey attacking forward that you can sort of just send the ball over the midfield and get it to Ronaldo Damas and ask him to do Ronaldo Damas type things and play with energy and basically, get a goal or create a goal out of almost nothing in those situations. And then you can just sit back for 80% of the game because you've scored that goal from Ronaldo Damas over the top. Nothing against Kubo Torres, nothing against Ugo Okoli, but neither of those players are Ronaldo Damas. I'm not saying they're not better or as good as, or they're worse than Damas. It's just they're not that same type of player. So you don't have that energetic up top player. I mean, I want to say when Ugo first returned to Orange County a few seasons back, I think Dylan and I talked about this. I said he's just not a high work rate attacker, as it comes, because we had just come off a season with Michael Seaton, who's someone that basically fights hard on that half of the field to get the ball and try and make something happen. And then you watch someone like an Ugo Okoli, who, if it doesn't work or it doesn't go right for him, he sort of stops and lets the ball go where it goes and waits for his next opportunity. I'm one of those people that likes a high work rate type player. And I love Ugo Okoli. He's awesome, and maybe he's changed a little bit since he first came over, but I still feel like once it doesn't go right, maybe he's taking the foot off the gas. Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong there.
I mean, Ray, we have to give him some credit because 2020 Ugo Okoli, I would say, he was not impressive early on. Kind of that like target man idea where he doesn't do too much that isn't directly involved with scoring or assisting a goal. But the Ugo Okoli we saw last year, 2021, the Ugo Okoli that, I mean, so far, I also want to say, like, he's been working hard. I mean, we have to remember that against Indy 11, he's going back to try and win a header at the edge of our own box while we're defending. So something has changed there. Maybe he's a little more happy to do some dirty work here in this system. Maybe he just recognizes that it needs to get done, a la Michael Seaton in 2019. But you got to give him some credit. He's just, of course, this is not the Ugo Okoli of 2016, where he was quite a bit more lean before someone had said, hey, you should become a target man, and hey, bulk up, and so at the end of the day, we don't have someone that can run for 120 minutes week after week after week and is one of the fastest people in the league. And that's probably why playing for 1-0 victories doesn't work, because like if your beloved Tottenham, for example, had thrown Chris Wood up top and said, go get it, buddy, instead of having like a Son or a Steven Bergwijn, it wouldn't work because he is massive and slow and offers nothing about ball progression.
And let's make sure we stick there. We can wrap up any English soccer talk. We don't need to hear about any other English soccer teams from this point on. We brought up Tottenham. We're good to go. Alan, do you have any answers for Peter in his questions about, whatever he asked?
Yeah, I'm not sure Orange County has necessarily figured out the best way for them to attack yet. I mean, Ugo Okoli's touches are mostly on the right attacking side, but like pretty far from the box. So I think they're trying to figure out how to work him in. Obviously, Olaski was a big name early. Ugo's been playing all right, but he started out pretty hot with 3 goals and an assist, and the first 5 matches, including the Open Cup, and then has gone a little bit more silent over the course of the season. Eric Torres is, Kubo Torres had a couple of really nice headed goals, and I think there's some opportunities there, but, one coming from a set piece and one coming kind of from a broken play. So not necessarily the run of play is like hopeful. It's like, hey, we might be able to figure out how to get him in a USL match. And I think with that turnover, we talked about this, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, is Orange County has had a high turnover. So it's trying to figure out how those pieces all fit together is difficult, right? When Chaplow took over, he knew a lot of the players really well and knew their strengths and weaknesses and really could identify how to play them the best. I think right now he's getting used to these new players coming in and figuring out how to get the most out of them. So I'm not sure they've quite figured it out. He needs to get more minutes and he is rapid. Yeah. I think if they can find the guy who has speed, I think that they're going to go with a very similar approach. But right now, I don't think they necessarily have that going on. Kubo's not quick. Sean Okoli's not quick. Ugo Okoli's not quick. So they're missing that piece. But yeah, I think they're trying to figure it out.
I still think we need to go figure out where Vinicius is and bring him back to the club. He might be able to fill into that Ronaldo Damas role. Brad, you get the last shot at the question Peter asked. If you have anything to go, are you still trying to figure out the
score sheet should be updated. At least it's on the Discord group. Honestly, getting lucky seems to be how Orange County's gotten most of our goals so far this year. And I don't mean like ball falls at feet, kick ball in, just luckily. I mean, we haven't seemed to find something that works for us. And the things that have worked have been different over the course of the season. I don't know if it's something that's getting practiced on the training ground or if it's something that the team has just been improving at. So getting lucky.
Anything else anyone wants to ask anyone in this group? And again, Peter, if you have another question for us, let us know. I mean, we'll answer them.
I don't have a question. I have been solicited to provide some lineup and strategy information about the Roots, so I can throw that at you. The Roots came into the season, we think, planning to play a back 4. They have been playing a back 3 or 5, sort of however you want to look at it. So everything I'm going to tell you is based on having 3 center backs, but there's always a possibility that the coach has decided he's having enough and he's going to run his back 4, whether it works or not. So what you're looking at is 3 center backs. 2 of them are new arrivals. Alejandro Fuenmayor, who played for Houston Dynamo for a while, never really sort of took off there. And Danny Barbier, I don't know if you guys played the Sporting Kansas City 2 last year, but he was a sort of a rock on their defense. And then, when they collapsed and the other USL teams looted them for parts, the Roots picked up Barbier, having been really impressed with him in the game that the Roots played against them. The center backs primarily maintain possession because the midfield that the Roots are running does not do a great job of maintaining possession. They are a defensive midfielder and a central midfielder. And when they get the ball, they are very frequently playing a pass up to a forward who's going to pass it back and looking to spring the 2 wing backs. The 2 wing backs are crazy fast. Eduardo Rito, who came over from Venezuela, and Juan Carlos Azocar, who was on Rio Grande Valley last year. And they do the vast bulk of getting the ball from defense to offense. And part of the reason why I think the Roots are having to play 3 center backs is that they're not contributing as much in defense as you need if you want to run a back 4, basically. And then the Roots run 3 attackers, functionally 2 attacking midfielders and a pure striker. The pure striker is this loanee from Venezia this large blonde Icelander. And then the two supporting attacking midfielders have changed some. There's Charlie Dennis, who came up from FC Tucson. The Roots trying to get their own sort of Ronaldo Damas, picking somebody out of USL League One and hoping that they, turn up better cards than they thought they were going to. So he's been playing on the right, and he shows flashes of brilliance. He never pulls the trigger when you want him to. So he always looks off the first runner. He never takes the shot first time, and you feel like he's actually pretty good when he pulls the trigger on his pass or shot, and you wish he'd just do it. And then on the left side, it was Lidno Mafika for a while. More recently, it's been Darius Vermella, who I'm sure you all remember from Sacramento. And he has a couple goals, and he's had some good looks. I mean, he had an opportunity to break open the Colorado Springs game, but he messed it up. He blew it. That was 5 minutes in. The Roots almost took the lead. He was put clear through on goal, and he couldn't quite get around the keeper the way he wanted to. The Roots keeper. So last year the Roots went through it in goal. So one of their designated players, their international slots was Zeus De La Paz, who is the keeper for the Curacao national team, and he just didn't come good. He got COVID maybe twice, and when he finally was able to actually play for the team, he just made some boneheaded errors. At one point, it wasn't counted as an own goal, but he got the ball and the forward was running at him, and he just leathered the ball right into the forward's torso, and it looped back over his head into the goal. So they got some starts from Taylor Bailey for a while, and then ultimately replaced him with Paul Blanchette, who's a local guy, and he really carried the team through the end of the season, did really well in the playoffs. He scored, he saved a penalty, which I guess someone thought differently about whether or not it was a legitimate save. I'm sure you all remember that. It was a little unclear what the Roots were planning to do this season, although that mystery was cleared up. They brought in an international slot, I think on loan, Benny Diaz, who was maybe the backup keeper at Tijuana, and he's looked pretty good. He's maybe not the world's best shot stopper, but he's been doing pretty well in circulating play. He got really unlucky in the equalizing goal in El Paso, but overall has looked pretty good. No keeper looks good coming off of a 3-0 loss. But he was my man of the match in El Paso. I mean, he had 5 or 6 saves in that game. So yeah, that's the rundown on what the Roots are doing. They try to win possession in midfield, maintain possession by circulating back to the center backs, and then try to get a quick break down the sides, and then put in these decisive crosses, either straight in for a one-touch finish, or for a forward to then pass on to one of the other forwards in the box to slot something in. It's working okay. They have 12 goals in 8 games. Or 12 goals in 9 games, which is okay. But you need a better defense if you want to make the playoffs with 12 goals per 9 games. So yes, and Benny Diaz is listed as on Wikipedia as being from California, ambiguously.
Yeah, it's he was born in California, the United States. I was that's
no city, just
no
a random
city,
part of the state.
No, yeah, and it where it says literally born, it just says California, United States, place of birth, just California. Yeah, it's really.
Does that mean he doesn't have a legit birth certificate or something? I'm wondering now. We got to figure this out. Dylan, do the research on this. Dylan, you're the investigative reporter of the group.
You make it sound like I'm some sort of truther. I'm not getting involved with that. I don't care where the dude was born.
Hey, dude, you're the one that broke the whole Thomas Jewel Nelson, all that craziness that happened when he was first with the club. You shared the story of his knee injuries and all that fun stuff. So we'll let you handle that, Dylan. As far as goalkeepers go, Benny Diaz, I think it's like a 57% save percentage this season. Patrick Rakowski is 63% save percentage. Sounds like both of these teams like to play like defensive setups. So this is going to be the most exciting game, I think, for both of these two teams all season. At least I'm going to love this game. Again, I'm the defensive minded person. I want to see the tactics going on. Brad, are you ready with those prediction standings?
Yeah.
You want to let our
Andy, I don't
listeners
know
know?
if
Can you let us know? Can you let us know last week who won just last week alone?
Just last week alone, who won? I believe two people
Out of us. Out of all of us.
Oh, out of us. Okay, let's start with us. Last week, the highest. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Ray is the highest from last week.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brad. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, I have to give all credit to myself for such an amazing job of deferring my pick to our guests last week. They made the prediction for me. So, which Peter, by the way, you're going to make a prediction for me on this game. So I'll let you try and predict how this goes.
Okay.
Or did I? Wait, we didn't have a guest last week.
No, we didn't.
I'm confused. I actually did a good job. Damn, I'm good. I'm good at this. Go ahead, Brad. I won't cut you off again.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm really good at this. I am really good at this prediction thing.
We had two perfect guesses this past week. We had, I believe it was Jen and man, I can't remember the other one. I'm not gonna reopen the darn tab. Thanks, Ray. Our two perfect predictions, I can't English, are Jen and Mikey. And then, I mean, scores are listed on the screen now. Anything else to add, Ray?
Emrod's in line for oh, I'm muted. Am I muted? Oh,
Nope.
No, I'm not muted.
We have devolving into pure game.
The anti-Brad.
I think I was muted and then I got unmuted by the host, apparently, is what my screen said. But it looks like Emrod is now in line to win a prize because Dylan apparently decided to choke on his predictions this past week. But again, remember, anyone that at the end of the season is better than any of us, like the best of us, will get something. I don't know what it'll be. We'll figure it out. But I'm just going to say this. I did a good job of score predicting last week because I did the best out of all, at least us on the show. So can I get my congratulations from Dylan, Brad, and Alan?
No.
Come on, Brad.
He said no, but he's muted.
Yeah.
I also had said no, but I was muted.
Let's do this. Let's get to our predictions for this match. Dylan's like ready to like leave this show right now. He's like, what the hell just happened? Peter's like, what did I sign up for joining these guys? I thought this was a more professionally run show, but no, it's not, Peter. When we're not in playoff mode, this is what we do. When we're in playoff mode, we get a little bit more serious, but this is now early May. Predictions for this match against Oakland. Because I did the best last week, I'm going to go first this week, and I'm going to defer to Peter. Peter, you get to do my predictions for this match. The way we're going to do it, let us know Orange County's score first, and then the opponent's score, and we'll go from there. So what do you think the score will be?
And remember, before you do put in your prediction, you can make some silly prediction like 69-9 or 69-420 or
Peter
something along the line.
Like,
make it
Peter
as
Peter wants to look like he knows what he's talking about when it comes to soccer. He wants to look good for his Roots blog followers, so he doesn't want to.
He has a prediction on his Roots blog. This is your prediction, not his.
Hey, but his Roots blog followers are going to listen to this show and be like, Peter is crazy because he says one thing with us and one thing with someone else.
I'm not really that concerned about anyone thinking that I'm crazy. But I will give you my real prediction. My real prediction is Orange County 1, Oakland 2.
I love Brad tried to work the game there and it did not work, Brad. You should lose a point just for that. Brad, what's your prediction?
My prediction is 2-0 Orange County.
Dylan.
Gotta get back on top. Orange County 1. Oakland Roots 1.
Alan, what is yours?
That's what I was gonna pick.
You can copy me.
I love that Dylan always gave me a hard time for my, my predictions because I thought they would work for something, and then he goes all season long and just says 1-1.
Oh, hold
He's
on.
not even
It's
trying
because
anymore.
I think that's a realistic scoreline for just about every single Orange County game these days.
It's like you're not even trying anymore, Dylan. Alan, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna go 1-1 as well.
And then just to throw out some predictions that we're seeing on the chats for our live stream, Golington with a 0-0, Joseph Figueroa with a 3-1 for Orange County. Share what you think. Let Brad know what your prediction is. Chuck Eldridge, 2-0 Orange County. Sorry, Peter. It looks like the Orange County fans are going our way for some reason. Who knew that would happen when you came onto our show, right?
Based on last season, the smart money is on Orange County.
Based on last season. But apparently this season, it's not really going well for either team. So, I mean, who knows where the smart money is? Brad, let us know what the Nevada bookmakers are thinking for this match. Where do we have Orange County since you have easy access to all that? Let's get into this. Soccer stuff. Any other soccer things other than Orange County versus Oakland, Orange County, Oakland Roots, anything other than those two teams that we want to talk about before we wrap things up?
For like 45 minutes today, Villarreal was having the upset of the century over Liverpool, but only for 45 minutes.
Don't give Alan that opportunity to be excited on this show, man. We do not want to hear Alan brag about Liverpool.
I would like to point out that they never actually led in the tie. It was only a draw, but props to them. Oh, and their fans were amazing, both home and away. Like Villarreal's fans showed up both home and away. So congratulations to those fans on a great season. Sorry, you're like 7th in La Liga.
Way to throw that in at the end there, Alan.
To championship champions Fulham and Alexander Mitrovic for now holding the single season scoring record in the championship with, I think, 43 goals. So Fulham back in the Prem, this time without Scott Parker, this time with Mitrovic probably leading the line. Maybe they'll just stay up this time. And we
also,
won't
Bournemouth.
talk about
Bournemouth winning today. Yeah, also, I believe they won today, and so by winning today over Nottingham Forest, as it says in ESPN, they also rocketed themselves. Apparently, the one goal they scored was an absolute stunner. So congratulations to both of them. And Luton
Alan's
Town is still
he doesn't know.
Still in contention to.
Dylan's sad though.
Yes, the wheels are falling off the bus a little bit as they lost 7-0 to Fulham.
So here we go. I got a couple things to talk about. I actually get to say Tottenham, and it actually relates to Orange County because Tottenham has announced they are hosting they are traveling to Glasgow, Scotland for a friendly against Rangers. So that's where the Orange County connection comes in right there. Also, the club Orange County SC announced earlier, I believe today, about this collaboration with Social Distortion. We all know Miko Kanungas is a huge Social D fan. I want to sort of take credit for this collection because like a year ago, we had Miko on the show and we did a mock up of Miko in the Social D logo with a soccer ball. And now we're seeing this awesome merchandise coming through from this collaboration between Social D and Orange County SC. I love it because I'm a huge music person. So I love to see Orange County making connections with some local bands, local musicians. And this is an awesome opportunity for that. So there's some hats. There's actually like a warm-up kit or training kit, whatever you want to call it. And a few other things available with the Social D connection there. It's really awesome stuff. I need to get that warm-up kit. That's something I'm definitely going to look at trying to get. I have not bought a kit for the 2022 season. I think that's going to be where I'm going to go. Just because I think that looks pretty darn cool. But some awesome merchandise coming out. It's awesome to see this this connection with some music, local music, and also just some really cool designs with some of the merchandise. Dylan, Alan, Brad, are any of you excited about any of this stuff? I know Brad is. I saw in the chats Brad was excited about some of these things.
I like the hat because I like the Skelly, but as for the music itself, like I have other preferences. I
Well,
don't
you're from
hate it.
Reno, so you don't know nothing about Social D. Producer Andy wants that warm up. I'm with you, Andy. I think we're definitely, both of us are getting that thing. We're going to support that. I think that's really darn cool. It's just, it's a great way. Chuck is waiting for the No Doubt collaboration. Hey, you know what? There's some great music that came out of Orange County. You got to remember, like, there's also artists like Aloe Black. You know, there's a lot of great music that has come out of Orange County. That you can potentially see some collabos with. And I think that's why Orange County is trying to get some of these music things going as well. Alan.
I believe in the pitch meeting, there was a pitch for No Doubt. And the person who was deciding said, don't speak. I know.
Yeah, thank you to the producer, because we could all see that one coming. Good God. My hope is that we get a Social D show, because they're doing a new album, and that would be a pretty sweet Saturday night to have.
As long as it doesn't like get canceled for whatever reason, for unknown circumstances or uncontrollable circumstances. But no, it's awesome to see that collaboration.
That would be a true tragic kingdom.
Oh, damn you, Alan. Oh, Peter.
This may be a risky place to. This may be a risky venue to say this, but I don't know if you saw Roots Blog's player hate rankings last season, but Mikko Kaningas snuck in at 5 on 5 most hated players. But he may be falling off that list, knowing that he's a Social Distortion fan.
Hey, you know that I think we've talked about in the show multiple times is Mikko Kaningas, and there's also a player that's now back on the team, Rob Kiernan, that's sort of their goals out there on the pitch, is to get under the skin. I know Alan still has a bad taste in his mouth from Rob Kiernan and what he did to his San Diego Loyal. Was it 2 seasons ago now?
Yeah, it was a handball. One of those
things. Yeah, it's Orange County fans love it. It's one of those things, like, right, you love that type of player when they're on your team, and when they're on the opponent, you hate that player. Just something that comes out of mind because I'm a basketball fan, I'm a Clipper fan, was Patrick Beverley. When he's on your team, you love him. When he's not on your team, you hate that guy. You want to just like punch him or choke him or whatever maybe, just from the way they act. So I get your hatred in Oakland for Mikko Kaningas, because we see it. We know what he does to you, and we love it here in Orange County because he's on our team and he's trying to do that. So, but yeah, he's a huge Social D fan. He came on our show and let us know. That's how we learned, right? That's how we learned that he loves Social D, is we asked him the questions, and it was pretty cool. Our producer wants to get us to random thoughts. Yeah, we're way past our time, so let's get to our random thoughts. Dylan, random thoughts in 5 words. It's not that easy, huh, Dylan?
Man, that's not a lot.
All right. Alan, your random thought.
I don't think I can do it in 5 words. The Sockers are playing for the championship of the Indoor Soccer League on Sunday. Should be a fun one. If you're in the area, get a ticket, come down. It should be a really good game against the Florida Tropics. But if I was going to sum up 5-word random thought, I would just say, underneath it all, baby.
Did you invite your Phoenix followers to come out to the Sockers match? Because we all know they love indoor soccer out there in Phoenix. Brad, what is your random thought?
Do I need to do it in 5 words or less?
No, the only one that had to do 5 words or less was Dylan.
Oh, okay. Well, this is my random thought in 5 words, and then I'll follow it up with normal. I was in Oakland Sunday. Following it up, went to a 100% gluten-free brewery. The beers were all gluten-free. The menu was all gluten-free. It was called Buck Wild, and definitely would suggest going to it. It's over, I think, actually not too far away from Laney College itself, where the Root Stadium is. So yeah, definitely would suggest if you do go to a game day down in Oakland. Although I know that the one we go to this year is on a Wednesday. Definitely go try that place out. It was nice having beer with my girlfriend who cannot typically drink beer.
If I could build on that, I don't want to jump in on someone else's random thought. I live like a mile from Buckwild. It's on my commute home. Jack London is an awesome place to hang out. If you do come up for a game, reach out to the Reeds blog people. We'll put you in touch with the supporters. They have tailgates for every game. They're generally open to the public as long as you're, going to be, polite, I guess.
Now, the big question, Peter, will you share a shot of Malort with these people that come join you? Because Brad's going to pull out his Malort right now. He's got his Malort. Do you know what Malort is, Peter?
Oh, I lived in Chicago for 3 years.
Yeah,
okay, so he knows. He knows. Apparently, the Reno guys, this was their tradition. And when Dylan, myself, our producer Andy were up there, and a few other Orange County fans, they forced us to drink this stuff. And it was like the worst thing ever. I don't know if you agree on that, Peter.
It's garbage. It is the worst thing I've ever consumed. But like the answer is yes, I'll still do it. I have a bottle. It's like sometimes you just want to feel like trash.
There you go. My random thought really quick. Alan, the Orange and Black Soccer Cast wants to punch you so hard next time, just so you know. So I just wanted to let you know that's what my random thought is right there. There we go. There it is on the screen. It's time to wrap things up because we went 6-7 minutes further than we wanted to go on this. But I do want to thank our guest, Peter from Oakland Roots blog, for joining us. Peter, what's the website, or where can our listeners follow your blog, follow you? How do they hear more from you and your friends over there at the Roots blog?
So we have a new website. It is now just oaklandrootsblog.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Peter W. Bloom, or find our official Twitter account, which is at Oak Roots Blog, which is run by Aaron, who was on this podcast last season. Is much funnier than me, but everyone assumes that I run the Twitter account. You can also find our actual reporter who writes for us, John Como, but I can't spell his name live on the air. But if you find the at Oak Roots blog, you can find him in the ats.
It's going to make everyone listening to this and watching this very curious on why you cannot spell that last name. But by all means, go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Go to that.
Wanting more.
No, go to that website. Yeah, go. That makes them want to go to the website now to check that out. And it makes me really consider we need to find an actual reporter for our website, because when was the last time we wrote anything on our website, Dylan?
Look, man, I'm not taking the blame here. It's been a great Tuesday night, everyone. See y'all next week.
Roll them in credits.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for listening. If you want to check out more from us, you can actually listen to some of our or all of our episodes at our website, OCSCpodcast.com. You could check out the last thing we wrote, which was probably like a year and a half ago, but go read it. Hey, who knows? And we'll probably try and write some more as we go through. We're just, we have lives outside of soccer and blogging and podcasting. So except for Dylan, because does he really have a life? Who knows? For Dylan, for Brad, for Alan, for our producer, Andy, and for Peter, our guest, I want to thank you all for listening. This is the Orange and Black Soccer Cast, and we are out. Oh,